Welcome back for part 2 of my Krampus build. We'll be using the templates from Stephen K. from SKS Props. Today we're going to start by placing the upper eyelids on the inside of the mask. I'll be using my heat gun to speed up the adhesion time on the contact cement. After attaching the upper eyelids, I'll be marking out the area in the ears where I'll be grinding out detail. For that process, I'll be using my Dremel rotary tool. Take note in this particular segment how the ears are actually situated. I ended up putting them on the wrong side and had to change them later on in the video. While I was waiting on the contact cement to dry for the ears, I used my heat gun to form the horns. There are 4 individual pieces to make up the 2 horns. After forming the horns, I attached the ears on the wrong side, making Krampus look more like Krusty the Clown. I caught the error later in the build and was able to correct it without tearing the foam. It's important to be very careful when connecting the 2 pieces of the horns and to make sure that the registration marks connect to each other. The inside connection is even more difficult than the outside. But you don't have to worry about any small problems in the seam connection because the next part of this process will cover up any small mistakes. I checked the positions of the horns, then angle cut them to get that rear projection. I started with small angle cuts on the first one, and when I got it exactly the way I wanted it, I transferred that onto the second horn. The material is cut off the front of the horn. The rear of the horn is left at the exact same length. To get a larger flat surface to attach the horn to the head, I utilized some 10mm foam. I used the base of the horn to mark out the shape, then I cut them out and trimmed them down to a size where it would fit neatly inside. Grinding the edges smooth with my rotary tool for better contact. I used contact cement to attach the 10mm cutouts to the base of the horn. Then attach the 2 pieces with the edges even. To create the detail on the horns, I needed a strip of 2mm EVA foam, 60 inches long, 3.5 inches on one side, tapering down to a 1/2 inch on the end. For each horn, I utilized 1 sheet of 2mm EVA foam. I cut it down to 4 strips and then attached them together on the ends. Because I was working with such a small adhesive surface, I utilized small pieces of paper to keep my project from sticking to the work table. After cutting the strip down to 60 inches, I marked ½ inch on one side, 3½ inch on the other side. Then I utilized a long straight edge to connect the two lines. Then I cut out the long tapered strip of 2mm foam. I used my heat gun to make sure that the connections were sealed before removing the paper. Starting with the smaller side of the strip and the tip of the horn, I used crazy glue and slowly wrapped the strip around the horn. Using the glue in strategic spots, I overlapped the strip 1/4 inch. After fully wrapping the horn, I evenly trimmed the end. I used the same process for the second horn. Don't worry about the color difference, that'll be taken care of in the final stages. Using my Dremel rotary tool, I created lines and striations on the horns for detail. I marked off the positions of the horns on the head so I'd know exactly where to put the contact cement. After allowing the contact cement to dry on the base of the horns and the forehead, I attached the horns. Following the advice of SK from SKS Props, I used foam clay to smooth out all the transition between the pieces. In Steve K's build, he utilizes a lot of foam clay because he says it's very easy to sand down when it's dry. Since I had very little experience with this, it wasn't working out as well as I'd liked it to. So near the end of this project, I ended up removing just about all of the clay that I had put on. Until I become a little more proficient at using foam clay, I'll have to keep it to a minimum. It was at this point that I realized my mistake with the ears. Luckily, I was able to remove them without tearing the forehead. Then I replaced the ears back in the proper position. Goodbye, Krusty the Clown, and hello, Krampus. After sanding everything down, I put on a base coat of black Plasti Dip. Then I misted over that with some high-performance white. The white paint accentuated some spots that I had missed with the sanding, so I took care of that. Then I utilized my USB soldering iron so I could put in some more detailing. I created some shadowing inside the crevices with some black acrylic paint diluted with water. I utilized the same technique around the base of the horns with yellow ochre. Using a less diluted mixture of yellow ochre and water, I covered the entire horns, then wiped it down. Doing the same with the teeth and the eye bags. I tried to accentuate the gums with a brighter color, but it was a little too bright. I ended up using a little white mixture and dry brushed it to knock down the color. Because Krampus is basically a winter creature associated with snow. At this point, I wanted to clean up my work surface so I could apply all the finishing touches. I applied a light coat of clear polyurethane spray before making preparations to apply all the facial hair. This is the exact fur that Steve K used in his build. I'll leave a link in the description on where to purchase. Stretching the fur from one side to the other of the base of the mask, I get an exact measurement for the beard. I mark the material and cut a half-round bottom at the length I want for the beard, keeping in mind the orientation of the fur. Using hot glue, I fold over and seal the cut end for a more realistic appearance. I then hot glue the beard to the base of the mask. I utilize the template piece to cut out the eyebrows, then glue them on. I cut out 2 pieces of fur to attach above the ear and around the back of the horns. I freehand cut 2 pieces for each side of the mustache, gluing and folding over the cut ends for appearance. With the front of the mask completed, it's time to start on the finishing touches on the inside. I'm going to start by attaching the elastic band that'll hold the mask onto your face. I attach each end of the elastic band to little squares of 4mm foam with crazy glue. I'll be using contact cement to attach the foam pieces to the inside of the mask, but I'll also be putting a little bit of crazy glue directly on the elastic for a tighter bond. To obscure the inside of the eyes and the mouth, I'm going to use my rubber mesh. I would have preferred to use some screen material, but this is what I have on hand, so c'est la vie. I cut out small squares for the eyes and a rectangular piece for the mouth. Then spray paint both sides of the pieces black. I attach the pieces to the inside with contact cement. As another of my mask builds, I'm going to line the entire inside with some black felt. After trimming the felt down to a proper size and cutting out the holes for the eyes and the mouth, I attach it with some spray adhesive. The spray adhesive gives me time to manipulate the felt in position before it bonds permanently. That completes this project. I have to say that I was very excited taking on this project, and I'm completely happy with the way it turned out. As always, I want to thank all of my supporters and subscribers. Please like, comment, share, and press the bell notifications for future videos. And for this holiday season, make sure you're nice and not naughty, or you'll end up in a bag on Krampus' back.